Hi everyone, my name is Cassandra Manalo, and I'm hoping to be your next internal vice president. When I joined Katipunan last year, I didn't know that I was going to join a family. And hopefully as IVP, I can help Executive Cabinet create that same atmosphere for any general member and for anyone that wants to experience Katipunan. And as I mentioned before, I want to lead Katipunan in creating a broader network than just our club. I hope to bring back my own version of Connections, a conference about cultural exposure to give cultural organizations on campus a safe space to teach those around us about the culture that they represent and the importance of the values they uphold, along with hopefully creating my event with African student programs. Hopefully, I can bring conversations about the issues that impact us more to our attention. And by doing this, I hope to make Katipunan more open-minded and accepting. Although I hope to fulfill these plans as IVP with other cultural organizations, I want to extend our club connections beyond cultural orgs. For example, I want to reach out to the Wells Mental Health Outreach to create a program, because in Asian communities there's an underlying stigma that if you seek support for mental health, it automatically makes you crazy. And I want to help the API community dismiss that negative connotation associated with getting help. I want to be internal vice president to create bridges that had previously collapsed, and I hope to work with Executive Cabinet to make Katipunan a stronger force on campus that mimics the resilience that our ancestors had before us.
For your first question, what is your main motivation for running for IVP?
I think my main motivation for running for IVP is that culture is one of the most important things to me, and I think that taking into consideration the culture of the people that you interact with and that you see every day is one of the most important things we can do as students here at UCR. Because we're one of the most diverse campuses, it's so important for each of us to understand where the background that everyone else is coming from. And I think as IVP, that gives me the position to encourage others to do the same thing, to learn about the people around them, and to also bridge gaps between different cultures and see our similarities, our differences, and how we can work together based on those similarities and differences, and what we can do to understand each other better.
For your second question, discuss your greatest lesson you learned from being in this organization, and what would you want to teach members if elected?
Since I've joined Katipunan, I've learned to embrace my culture. I went to a high school where I was one of the only Filipinos on campus, and none of us interacted with each other because we had nothing to interact about. We had nothing in common. We all came from different places, and we were all kind of ashamed of who we were because we didn't fit in with the rest of the crowd. And I think being a part of Katipunan and being IVP, I could teach people early on that you shouldn't be ashamed of your culture, that it makes you you, and there's nothing more important than where you came from.
And then for your final question, if elected, in what ways would you want to lead this organization?
If elected, I would want, as IVP, to lead this organization through encouragement, and I want to basically lead everyone in terms of being open-minded. I want everyone to keep an open mind, to be aware of their surroundings, and basically know who they're talking to. Who you talk to tomorrow is different than someone that you can meet later on in life. And basically at any point in time, you should just be aware of that they could have a completely different life than you, and talking to them could change their day based on how you speak to them, whether you're dehumanizing them by accident, but whether you're using terms that they could find basically using words that could potentially harm them, harm their emotions. So I want people to know that that's important, to just be aware of who they are and what they're talking about.
I understand that Katipunan is a home to you like it is to me. However, I would like to encourage you all to not think of Katipunan as a comfort bubble, but rather as a stepping stone to move forward. My name is Ashley Lopez, and I'm running to be your next internal vice president. so I could help foster your growth and help bridge you to new opportunities and resources. This all brings us back to my challenge of using education and networking to accomplish this goal. With education, it's a matter of knowing what's out there and what's interesting to you. I want to be able to walk with you during your self-exploration, and I know it gets difficult, especially when there's so much offered on campus. I plan to bring more visibility with the resources offered on campus, as well as mass inviting Katipuneros to go to events hosted by different departments. The programs that other departments host allows students to gain insight on different communities. With this newly gained information, I hope this encourages individuals to try out new professional opportunities and to get involved on campus. Networking, on the other hand, I want to be able to encourage connections outside of Katipunan in order to bring unity with the other Asian Pacific Islander organizations. We currently do not have the best relationship with these other orgs. However, I feel with love and support is a way to do that. Change starts with you, to help improve this relationship in all. And this does not just benefit Katipunan, but it benefits you as well, to broaden your connections for potential professional opportunities. There is so much we have yet to learn, and I feel life should be seen as learning opportunities instead of potential failures. There's so much outside of Katipunan I would like to share with you, whether or not you would like me as a position. I would still be more than happy to be that bridge to those opportunities. In all, I am thankful to be given this opportunity to run as your potential internal vice president. Thank you.
For your first question, what is your main motivation for running for IVP?
My main motivation for running for IVP is that there is so much on campus that we do not utilize as students. And that was what I realized through my job at the Well. And this is kind of like frustrating to me because I feel like there's so many things that this campus has to offer, and I would like to share that with all of you. Another motivation for me to run for IVP is that I've always imagined to serve back to Katipunan because I feel like it's done so much for me in a sense of finding a community. And finding a community especially that supports me to move forward. And that's what I would like to bring back to all of you. Thank you.
For your second question, discuss your greatest lesson learned from being in this organization and what you want to teach members if elected.
I would say the biggest lesson learned from being in this organization is surrounding yourself with people that keep pushing you even if you're scared to fail. Even running for internal vice president, it was quite difficult for me because I was scared of failure. But having people around me to support me to keep going and to keep growing, that's the biggest lesson I've probably learned throughout this whole organization. And probably putting myself out there. I feel if I did not put myself out there my first year, I probably would not find the community I have today. I know it gets hard, especially when times get clicky, but it's just a matter of trying. Yeah. Thank you.
For your final question, if elected, in what ways would you want to lead this organization?
Several ways I would like to lead this organization is to be a friendly face on campus. I feel like that's the biggest one. I wouldn't want this organization to give off that vibe that we're higher up than others, but rather than a community people to go back to. I know it gets hard, especially when groups are formed, but I would like to keep pushing that type of environment, this friendly environment that just welcomes everyone. Also, I would like to push more creativity and trying out new events, trying out new things. There's a lot of things that Katipunan has not done or has done in the past and hasn't been done in years. And I would like to bring that back as well through this cultural fair I've heard about that I've never experienced. And I hope to bring the other organizations, other Asian Pacific Islander organizations to come collaborate with us as well.